Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input as well as the concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. If it has been perfect, just write perfect over the like chat and then we are going to go ahead with the today's session. As you guys must be able to recall, in last video we were focusing over the concepts of limit. Around 3 to 4 important questions are already been discussed in the last class, and we had also seen about the few important indeterminate cases. The 7 indeterminate cases we had already discussed in the last classes. May I know what are they? What were they? They were infinity to the power of 0, they were 1 to the power of infinity, infinity minus infinity, infinity by infinity, 0 by 0. So total 7 number of cases we had in last class. In the same sequence, now we have been taking few of the very cream questions which had come from the concepts of limit. Only and only cream questions I had been planned to take in today's class. For the each and individual question, I am going to give you approximately 2 to 3 minutes. So in the same sequence, here comes the first question. This problem has been framed by ISC Bangalore, and this question had been raised in mechanical engineering. So let me do one thing. Let me bring this question towards working board. So here goes this question. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer. For the each and individual question, I am going to give you approximately 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. So your time starts now. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer, and the time starts now. Limit x tends to infinity, root over of x square plus x minus 1. And then here comes minus of x outside is equals to, the 4 different options are being given. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer. Read it properly and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer. What could have been the bestmost answer? Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer for this given question. Anyone? So let me start the timer once again. So exactly 2 minutes I am going to give you for this given question. So the timer starts once again. Limit x tends to infinity, root over of x square plus x minus 1, and this minus x is been outside from this square root. So read it carefully. Tell me what could have been the bestmost answer. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the bestmost answer. Read it carefully. Anyways, as far as this problem is being concerned, when we will feed x is equals to infinity in first as well as second term, this has been a case of infinity minus of infinity. What we have been doing at very beginning, I had kept x as infinity. So the first term is infinity to the power of 2, that has been infinity, plus of infinity minus of 1. A very large value has been subtracted with 1. Obviously the result is been infinity. Virtually speaking, if you will start taking x is equals to infinity, it stands infinity square plus infinity minus of 1, and this is been squared of minus of infinity. Now probably most of the student would get stuck at this moment of point. What they would do, they would take infinity to the power of 2, that is been infinity, which is quite okay. Same goes with infinity minus of 1. Everything is quite okay. I do not have any problem in that sense. I don't have that. But the basic problem which we are going to have is been Infinity to the power of infinity is been infinity, plus infinity is again been infinity, is been subtracted with a 1. A finite value remains infinity. Even a very large value is been squared off. Obviously, again it is been infinity. Virtually speaking, this is been case of infinity, minus of infinity, and this is been a case of indeterminate. No. Nobody should write infinity minus of infinity as 0, or maybe few of them may also write this as infinity. If you have any kind of doubt, you can check it out my last video, because in last video, probably yesterday, I had discussed about the 7 different kinds of indeterminate cases. So what should we do now? The only one way, and that is being method of rationalization. See what we would be doing over here. Again, I am writing limit x tends to infinity, and we are going to rationalize it. So x square plus x minus of 1 would remain as it is. Here goes minus of x. Now going to get multiplied with root over of x square plus of x minus of 1, and here goes plus of x. And as the multiplication of this term has been additional at numerator side, to balance this equation, we had to divide at denominator as well. So here it becomes x square plus of x minus of 1 plus of x plus of x. Yes. Let me do one thing. Let me start multiplying them together. And obviously it is been a case of a plus b into a minus b. The identity we can use over here. So here it becomes limit x tends to infinity. And this is going to be a, and this is going to be b. And this has been the case of a minus b, a plus b. So a square is simply going to be x square plus x minus of 1. And then here it goes minus of b square, that stands for minus of x square. And towards denominator side, we are going to have this as square of minus of 1, and plus of x is been outside. This x square and the x square has been knocked off. And this question had been designed in such a way that the x square and the x square is going to be getting knocked off. So let me go further. So the numerator has been left out only with x minus 1. Let me focus over the denominator side. The denominator had the degree of 1. So it has been x square plus of x minus of 1 plus of x. And one of the beauty regarding this function has been the numerator had degree as 1 and the denominator has also degree as 1. How did I know about it? The highest power of x has been 1, and even at numerator side the highest power has been 1, and if you will bring x square out, it is just been x outside. If the degree of numerator and denominators are been very same, keep in mind when the variable x is been tending towards infinity, the value is going to be a finite non-zero value. And yes, this has been the case now. What I would do, the highest power would be brought out from the numerator as well as denominator. From the numerator side it has been x, and from the denominator side also it has been x only. So this is been 1 minus 1 by x, and here it becomes 1. X square has been taken out, it has been 1 upon x minus of 1 by x square, and here it is just been 1. And here I would be feeding limit x, which has been tending towards infinity. X has been forced to reach towards infinity, and now I think it's been the right time to smash this kind of problem. What I would do now, I would feed x tends to infinity. As the x has been tending towards infinity, 1 by x would tend to 0, 0, 0. Virtually speaking, at numerator we had left out with 1, and at denominator we had left out with the root over of 1 plus of 1. Virtually speaking, the result has been 1 by 2. Result has been 1 by 2. A well crafted question, and you can expect this kind of question in near future. You can expect this kind of question in near future, and this has been a well designed question. Is that part clear to all of us? So I think it's been the right time I should also be taking the next question as well. So here comes the next question. This question has been the amalgamation of what? Integration as well as the concept of limit. So let me do one thing. This question has already been asked in GATE instrumentation, year of 2005. Let me expand it so that the quality of visual will be better actually. So let me bring it to the working board. This has been the second question actually. Here comes a question. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. This has been the second question. Given a real valued continuous function, what does it actually mean of real valued continuous function? That means for all possible values of a real t's, f of t is supposed to be a real function defined over a closed interval of 0, 1. Then I need to find limit t tends to 0, over 1 upon t integration is been from 0 to t f of x dx. The four different options are being attached along with this problem. It is been infinity, 0, f of 1 and f of 0. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. I would like to know from each one of you. I would like to know from each one of you. Yes, I would like to know from each one of you. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer. Read it properly and tell me what could have been the best most answer. Maximum the 2 minutes I can offer for this given question. It should not go more than 2 minutes. So your time starts now. Your time starts now. Read it carefully and tell me what would have been the best most answer. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. What could have been the best most answer for this given question? Is that part clear? What tell me? Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. Tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. So let me give another 1 minute. So your timer starts once again. Once again. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer. Given a real valued continuous function f of t defined over 0 to 1, the closed interval of 0 to 1, then I need to find the limit t tends to 0 over 1 upon t, the integration is been from 0 to t f of x over dx. F of x over dx. See, few of the critical and important things already been attached along with this problem. What are they? What are they? The first, the function is being continuous. And as the function is being continuous, obviously, there would not be any abrupt change in an entire region of x, including 0 and 1. It has been a continuous function, such that what's the benefit of it? If the function is being a continuous function, at least at moment the integration has been taken in between 0 to 1, definite and indefinite integral you must have heard. Yes, and if the function is being continuous in an entire region of 0 to 1, at least one benefit you are going to have, you are going to just offer a definite integral. That's been the first thing. And as it is being real valued, what does that actually mean of it? For all possible values of t, the f of t would lead a real value. Let me give you an example, then only you will be able to understand the thing in a better way. Let's take, if you had taken a function root over of x minus of 1, and if you feed x is equals to 0, then you will get to know it is going to lead a imaginary value. How it has been? 0 minus of 1, that is going to be square root of minus of 1, and that is been iota. That means this kind of function is not been taken while framing this question. The function is being continuous and will always lead a real valued result. A real valued result. That is for sure, sir. That is for sure. What about next? Let me come back to this problem once again. So here they had focused over finding 1 upon t, where the integration has been brought from 0 to t over fx dx. Over fx dx. Agreed? Over fx dx. Agreed, sir. See, what's the beauty behind this question has been? My dear friend, once will take the integration of f of x. So obviously, the new function is supposed to come. Let's take the new function which had come after the integration, indefinite integration. So it is going to be capital F of x. And now you will feed x as t as well as 0. And that is going to be the definite form of its integral. So what I would do, I would process this problem even further. Still it has been limit t tends to 0. As such, there had not been any changes. Yes, and here comes 1 upon t. That is also great, sir. And now if we'll take the integration of a small f of x, that would lead another function. How did I know about it? My dear friend, if I take the integration of sine, it becomes cos. If you take the integration of cos, it becomes sine. If you take the integration of x, it becomes x square. Virtually speaking, one function gets converted to another function. And that is why rather taking small f of x, I have taken the capital F of x. And here comes the lower limit as 0 and the upper limit as t. Quite okay, sir. Now in next step, what I would do is still limit t would fed to 0 and it remains 1 upon t. The x would be fed as t, so here it becomes capital F of t minus of capital F of 0. Till this point, I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt as such. Nobody should have any kind of doubt. That's quite okay, sir. Now what I would do in next step? I would feed limit t tends to 0. And here it has been capital F of t, capital F of 0, and towards denominator side we had t now. My dear friend, as it has been clearly given, the small f of t has been a continuous in entire region of x, including 0 and 1. So obviously its integration would also be continuous. Yes, for a continuous function, its integration will always be continuous. If we'll take a reference of e to the power of x, x square, maybe sine of x, its integration would also be a continuous in nature. But anyways, once you'll feed t tends to 0. So virtually speaking, for any continuous function, if you really want to know the existence of the limit will always exist. And if you want to calculate the limit, let's take it x is equals to t or x is equals to c, straight away you could have calculated the worth of the function at x is equals to c itself, because the function has been continuous. Either you take left hand limit, right hand limit, or the worth of the function at x is equals to c, all of three are being same. So what I would do, straight away I'll feed this as 0. And one of the worst thing had happened, and that is been f of 0 would lead the same value, and this is been the case of 0 by 0. And as it has been a case of 0 by 0, obviously I had to take this problem into the hospital. I should use the L hospital rule. Anyways, what is my approach while using L hospital rule? I will take the differentiation at numerator and denominator until and unless the indeterminate case is not been rubbed out, it's not been removed. So I will take its differentiation. So differentiation of f of t would lead the same value, no, small f of t. Why? It had already been seen. The integration of small f of t was capital F of t. And similarly, the differentiation of capital F of t or antiderivative of capital F of t would lead small f of t. So this has been a side of integration. And this has been a side of differentiation. This has been a side of differentiation. Quite okay, sir. So what I would do over here, I would take its differentiation and then at last I would feed t tends to 0. So it is going to be f of t. My dear friend, capital F of 0, obviously it's going to be a constant component. So need not to worry about it. And the differentiation of t with respect to the t, it is again been 1. It's again been 1. And now simply you can feed t is equals to 0. And the result which we are supposed to get, it's been f of 0. Where it has been f of 0 has been the best most answer for this given question. May you know how many of us could have got this answer? How many of us could have got this answer? It had been a well-crafted question. It had been a well-crafted question. So I don't find any of these students would have any kind of doubt at least. Let me move forward taking the next question, and probably it is going to be the third question in a row. So here comes the next question. And it is a absolutely well-designed question. You had to have a little bit idea how to deal with this kind of question. Then only you will be able to do something with this. I would request to each one of you while solving this problem, read the complete statement carefully. So here comes the question. I need to calculate limit n tends to infinity of n plus n square plus n cube plus n to the power of 4 plus n has been raised to the power of n. And here comes 1 has been raised to the power of n, 2 raised to the power of n, 3 raised to the power of n, plus 4 raised to the power of n plus n raised to the power of n raised to the power of n. Again, for this given question, I had given the 2 minutes for you guys, and your timer starts now. So read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. Read it properly. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer. Tell me what would be the best most answer. Let me give you the another 2 minutes. So your time starts again. Read it carefully. Read it carefully. Anyways, I would request to all of the students who have been following us, at least they know what about the quality which we are going to deliver you guys. And if you really want to get paid with us, you want one-to-one mentorship with us, so definitely I would request to all of you, I would suggest to all of you, you can onboard with Unacademy. Such a lucrative offer you are going to have. You can look at over here. Pratigya batch, which had been a course which has been designed for GATE 2024. It has already been started from 15th of December onwards. And keep in mind the subject which had been started, it's been started by Sujay sir, taking the subject of signal system. This many teachers are going to teach you guys, and definitely you are going to extremely enjoy this course structure. Keep in mind, whenever you have been purchasing this course, the code which you guys have been using or you are going to use, it is going to be GA1111. GA1111. The amount of money which you guys are paying for 15 months. That means what I can say, if you have been preparing for GATE 2024, so 15 months are more than adequate. This has been December. If you add 15 months, even it will last probably after the GATE examination of 2024 as well. Amount of money which you are going to pay is just been 5,499 rupees. The complete 12 number of subjects in electrical and 10 number of subjects in electronics you are going to get. And similarly for the 30 months, this has been 7,499 rupees. The code which you guys have been using over here has been GA1111. Yes. And if you want to onboard with us in our recorded course, which is almost well appreciated course in this industry. So for Hinglish, where our mode of communication is going to be Hindi plus English, the terminologies, the technical wordings have been communicated in English, and the remaining part of the communication conversation is being taken place in Hindi. And here 1360 hours, then 1324 hours, I can say more than 1300 hours. And same goes with the electrical, more than 1500 hours, and EC more than 1400 hours. And similarly for CS and IT, it has been more than 1100. But the amount of money is minimal most. I should say minimal most. Agreed what I'm saying? Then here comes the R of content for pure English. Like you guys have been following me in global, so definitely you might be more acquainted in English, or you might be from the southern part of our country. So obviously you can go ahead with our English course as well. And there in English course for mechanical, somewhere more than 700 number of hours have been allocated. It's already been recorded, no? And similarly here for GATE civil engineering, it has been more than 900. For electrical, more than 1000. But still the amount of money which you're going to pay for 2024 is been just 5000. And similarly for 30th month, it's just been slightly greater than 7000 rupees. Same goes with the EC 960 hours, and similarly for the CSIT 968 hours. Yes. So the subscription has been clearly given over here, the amount which you are going to pay. And even the Arjuna batch, you must have known about this Arjuna batch. Recorded video course for GATE 23, 24 and 25 is starting from 2,999 rupees and 8,999 rupees. To book your recorded course, visit gateacademy.co.in. Essential and genius modes are been available, so you had to call with us. Just have a call with us. You will know about each and everything. So I think this has been the right time. You can also get the guided help from us. Anyways, read this problem carefully and tell me, according to you, what must have been the best most answer. What must have been the best most answer? Read it properly. Read it properly. If you want, I can give you another 1 minute. Read it properly, but I want the input from at least one person. The limit n has been fed to infinity. I know many of the students would have a bit doubt over here. If I'll ask few of the important things, if straight away you must have fed n as infinity, this will lead infinity. Infinity which has been raised to the power of 2, virtually speaking, infinity has been multiplied with the infinity 2 times. It is going to be even larger value. Same goes with 3 times, 4 times, or I would say the infinity is being keep added. So infinity plus infinity would lead the result as infinity. So yes, the first and important thing is being infinity raised to the power of 2, either infinity raised to the power of 3, infinity raised to the power of maybe 10, 20, but n which is being a whole number, natural number, will always lead the result as infinity. But keep in mind, if infinity has been raised to the power of -1, as the base has been infinity, but it had been raised to the minus of 1, it could have been written as 1 upon infinity, and 1 upon infinity stands for 0. So nobody should get confused that if towards base side the infinity had come, so we don't have to see towards the power side. No, exponent do also make sense. Exponent do also make sense. Is that part clear to all of us? Till this point, I don't find any of the students would have any kind of doubt now. And the next important point, if infinity is being raised to the 2 to the power of infinity, let's take 2 to the power of infinity. What does it actually mean of it? Actually, the 2 has been keep multiplied infinite number of times. 2 into 2 has been 4, gets multiplied with 2, that becomes 8, 16. Put together, this has been keep increasing, and somewhere it would also lead the value as infinity. But this has not been the case with 0 point of, let's take 2. If you take 0.2 to the power of infinity, 0.2 got multiplied with a 0.2, that would become 0.04. That is been lesser value. If it will again get multiplied with a 0.2, it would again be sent down. So virtually speaking, 0.2 to the power of infinity would become 0. So one of the important conclusion probably I should be taking out of it, and what it has been. So I should write over here. I should write it over here. Let's take, I had taken a situation a to the power of infinity, where a is greater than 0, but lesser than 1. In that case, a to the power of infinity stands for 0. And if a is being greater than 1, then it stands for infinity. But if a is precisely 1, this has been an indeterminate case. Why? Because there had been a sudden change over here. Till 1, the value was 0, and just after 1, the value had been infinity, and because of this sudden jerk, the value remains indeterminate at this case. Agreed what I'm saying? Till this point, I don't find any of the students would have any kind of doubt now. So may I know what's the conclusion we can deduce out of it? This has been infinity, and even this has also been infinity. This has been infinity, and this has been undeterminate or indeterminate, I should say. So what to do now? It's been an indeterminate case. What to do now? But still, one thing is quite sure. If it has been indeterminate, but still if it is getting added with infinity, the result is supposed to be infinity. This part nobody can deny. Indeterminate is what? It can't be negative at any cost. No, it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, and it could be infinity for the worst of the worst situation. But if it is getting added with the infinity, the result is supposed to be infinity only. So virtually speaking, this had been a case of infinity by infinity. Do you have any kind of doubt at least at this moment of point? No. So the infinity has been added towards the numerator, and similarly same goes with the denominator, and this has been the case of infinity over infinity. So nobody should say the infinity by infinity has been 1 or infinity. It's been an indeterminate case, which is already been discussed in the last class. Agreed, sir. Agreed. What to do now? Anyways, whenever we have been dealing with an extremely large value, infinity, usually we used to keep that value towards denominator side, such that a constant value getting divided with the infinity will result null. What to do now? N to the power of n is been highest power at numerator and denominator. Why don't we bring it out? And once we do so this becomes n divided by of n to the power of n plus n square divided by of n to the power of n, and then goes n to the power of n minus 1 divided by n to the power of n plus of 1, and same goes towards denominator side as well. So here it becomes again n to the power of n has been taken out. So here it becomes 1 divided by n to the power of n, then goes 2 divided by n to the power of n. Virtually speaking, this again has been 1. This again has been 1. Agreed, my dear friends? Yeah, agreeing, sir. Agreeing. Now, what I would do next? What I would do next? Just try to understand what we will do next. Till this point, I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt at least. But one thing is quite sure. One thing has been quite sure. The n is being larger than 1, 2, 3, 4 somewhere. It might be 10, maybe 20, or maybe any natural number. So once you'll divide n with n to the power of n, that is going to be 1 divided by of, I repeat, 1 divided by of n to the power of n minus 1. Same goes with this as well. And this, and same towards the denominator side as well. See, once you'll feed n tends to infinity. What had been happening, you yourself would be able to understand. See, this becomes infinity and this becomes infinity minus of 1. That is again been infinity. And nobody should say the infinity to the power of infinity has been an indeterminate case. No idea, friend. This has been very simple as infinity. Very simple as infinity. A very large value has been keep multiplied by itself infinite number of time, a very large number of time, it stands for infinity. So virtually speaking, it has been infinity, 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 everywhere infinity, in each and individual term infinity, except this 1 and 1. So result is supposed to be 1 over 1, and this is been 1 only. This is been 1 only. So probably you must have the clear cut idea about this kind of problem as well. So I think it's been the right time. I should also be focusing on the next question as well. Next question as well. So here comes the next question. Just a minute. Where it had gone? Probably it must be here. Just a minute. Where? Yeah. Okay. Then in the same sequence, I think is the right time. I should also be taking the next question as well. And this question had come in GATE Civil Engineering year of 2019. So you can't say that this kind of questions are not been asked in GATE examination. Yes, this kind of the questions are also been asked in GATE examination, where you have to put the effort in each and individual option. Then only you will be able to get the perfect most answer. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. I want the answer from each one of you. So let me do one thing. Let me start the timer once again. So timer, do start from you. I would request to each one of you, try to give the comment, because once you give the comment, definitely it excites any of the teacher, including me. And as we had been putting complete effort for the GATE Academy Global, such that the student who have been following us in GATE Academy Global or in mode of communication as English, this would also get benefited. This would also get benefited. So I would request to each one of you, don't miss that actually part of it. Part of it. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer. What could have been the best most answer? I would request to each one of you, try to subscribe this channel, so at least you'll have a better idea what other things have been going on in this channel. Read it carefully. Limit x has been tending towards 0. Towards the numerator, we had a sign of 4 of x, and towards the denominator, we had a sign of 2x. Same goes towards right hand side as well. Tell me, what could have been the best most answer? What could have been the best most answer? So let me start the timer once again. Let me start the timer once again. So timer had it started once again. Timer had it started once again. Tell me what must have been the answer. Anyways, let me do one thing. Sine of 4x and sine of 2x have been the continuous function, and that has been a continuous function. Left hand limit, right hand limit, and the worth of the function at x is equals to 3 is supposed to be same. So rather calculating its limit, I straight away must have calculated the worth of the function itself. For that, what I am going to do, x has been kept as 0. It becomes sine of 0, and same goes towards denominator side. This becomes sine of 0, and sine of 0 over sine of 0, it's been a case of 0 by 0, which has been indeterminate case. And same goes with the right hand side as well. 10x, once you'll keep x is equals to 0, 10 of 0 is being 0, and similarly once you'll keep x is equals to 0 towards the denominator side, again it's been case of 0 by 0. So I should say this has been a case of indeterminate, both of them. So what should we do now? If it has been a case of 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity, I can use L hospital rule happily. So I am going to use it. What I would do over here, let me differentiate with respect to the x. So once we differentiate with respect to the x, the result is supposed to be 4 comes out, and here it had been left out with the cos of 4 of x, and towards denominator side it had been cos of 2 of x, and here it goes limit x tends to 0. And once you feed x tends to 0, cos of 0 stands for 1 actually. Towards numerator and denominator, 4 by 2 stands for 2. At least this has been correct. So obviously C and B has been ruled out. The 2 has to come. But now I think it's been the right time. I should also be focusing on the 10x over x as well. But I would do again the same thing I'm going to do. We are going to take the differentiation at numerator as well as denominator. So what I'm going to do over here. So here comes a limit x tends to 0. The student who have been live with us, try to subscribe our channel. Then only you will be able to connecting with us in better way, and I would be in position to help you guys in a better way, because this has been a two-way, I should say, communication of the effort. It can't be one way. And similarly, if I take the differentiation of 10 of x, that stands for sec square x. And towards denominator side, it has been a differentiation of x with respect to the x, and that stands for 1. And what I'm going to do over here, the x has been fed as 0. And as we know, at x is equals to 0, the cos has been 1. So sec has also been 1. It's just been inverted. So 1 over 1, it's just been 1. So yes, both of the limits stand for the correct value. We need not to check the remaining one, that he has also been ruled out. So may I know what had been the best most answer? This has been the best most answer. If you want, I can show you. So here comes 10x over x. So let me show it to you. Yeah. So here comes the curve now. Here goes the graph. And let me draw this down. So here comes 10. See, you must have seen it. Intermediately, the function has been discontinuous, but at least at x is equal to 0, the function is being continuous. How did I know the function has been continuous? If you'll see at x is equal to 0, there had not been any disruption over the function. There had not been any sudden change in the function. And as there had not been any sudden change in the function, obviously the function is going to be continuous, and by default the limit do exist. May I know what had been the worth over here? If you'll try to reach x is equal to 0 from left hand side, is still the magnitude which you have been coming to be, it's been 1. So I can say f of 0 minus it's been 1, and same goes with the f of 0 plus as well, and that has been 1 again, Did you really understood what exactly I wanted to communicate through this? So this has been the case now. So I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt now. So at least at this moment of point, the answer has been quite clear. Is that part clear? So I think it's been the right time. I should also be taking the next question as well. So here comes the next question. Just a minute. Yeah. Here comes the next question. This one. Again, this problem must have come in GATE examination. No, this has not been come in GATE examination, but it's quite a tricky question. I won't say it's been a difficult, but it's quite a tricky question. So let me bring this question towards working board and we will try to smash this problem there only. So here comes the next question. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best answer. Read it carefully. Read this problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best answer. Limit x tends to infinity of sin square of x plus of 1, and towards denominator side we had a cos square x plus of x square. The four different options are being attached along with this problem. Tell me what could have been the best answer. What could have been the best answer? Read it carefully and then reply the best answer. Read it carefully. That's what I would say. Read it carefully and then only you have to reply it. Tell me what could have been the best answer for this given question. Let me start the timer once again. Let me start the timer once again. Yes, the timer had started once again. And that is will limit x tends to infinity over sin square of x plus of 1. And towards denominator side, we had a cos square x plus of x square. The four different options are being attached along with the problem. And that stands for infinity, 0, 1 and none of this. None of this. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been your answer. What could have been your answer? What could have been your answer? Read it carefully and then only you guys have been going to reply now. Only 10 seconds have been left out. Anyways, let me come back. As far as the sine of x and cos of x is being concerned, they have been oscillating signal. Their magnitude will never go beyond 1 and minus 1. And as it is being square, their magnitude will never go beyond 0 and plus 1. So as far as the sine square x and cos square x is being concerned, whether you feed x is equals to any large value, still their magnitude will never go behind or go beyond 0 to 1. So obviously this two term we can keep aside. Or if you want, you can write in between 0 to 1. But only and only problem is being the denominator side, the x square. As the value of x would be increasing, exponentially it is going to increase. Or I should say, parabolically it is going to increase. Parabolically it is going to increase. And when the x is been tending towards infinity, it would also range to infinity as well. So what's been the conclusion over this question? So the first important feed, the x is been tending towards infinity. Any garbage value, any undetermined value, but still sine square of x would always be leading in between 0 to 1 only. 0 to 1 only. It would lead in between 0 to 1 only. And then comes plus of 1. Then comes plus of 1. And then comes towards denominator side. Again, it has been any value in between 0 to 1. And here it becomes x square, and that has been infinity. So virtually speaking, the result has been any data which is getting added with 1. Obviously, the value would be anywhere in between 1 to 2 because it has been added. Yes, sir. And towards denominator side, any value which has been added to infinity would lead the value as infinity. So a finite value getting divided with the infinity, the result would be simply 0. So may I know what had been the best answer? The B has been the best answer for this given question. The B has been the best answer. Did you had a terminal? Yes, this has been the answer. So I think it's been the right time. I should also be taking the next question as well. So here comes the next question. And this problem has been a problem of exponent. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been your answer, at least for this given question. Take it towards working board. Take it towards working board. So here comes the next question. Here comes the next question. Yeah. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best answer. What is the value of limit n tends to infinity over 1 minus 1 by n to the power of 2n? And the four different options are being given along with this problem. So for this question again, I am going to give you somewhere 2 minutes. So your times are going to get start now. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best answer. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer. So let me start the timer once again. So the timer had begun once again. The timer had begun once again. Read it carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. Read it carefully. Anyways, let me come back to this question. See what had been the basic behind this question and what are the different points where you guys can make mistake. Most of us would feed n is equals to infinity. 1 upon infinity stands for 0, that is for sure. 1 minus of 0 would stand for 1. And now the n has been fed as infinity. 2 into infinity has been infinity and 1 to the power of infinity. Most of us would say it has been 1. Many of may also say it has been infinity, but it has been an indeterminate case. Why it has been an indeterminate case? Just try to understand why. If it has not been a pure 1, it has been 1.0001, or I should say 1 plus. In that case, when the value of 1.001 is being keep multiplied with 1.001, its value would be keep increasing. And as the value has been keep increasing, what would happen? It would try to go towards infinity. If it is just been lesser than 1, let's say it's been 0.99. And if 0.99 has been raised to the power of infinity, it would go to the 0. That is why there had been an abrupt value change at this moment of point, and that is why it has been a case of indeterminate. So what should I do now? What should I do now? What I did, this complete function is being taken as a y of n. Yes, so I had taken this as y of n. And that has been 1 minus 1 by n, and that had been raised to the power of 2 to the power of, or 1 by n has been raised to the power of 2n. 1 by n has been raised to the power of 2n. Quite okay, sir. Quite okay. What else? What next or what else? Tell me, what next? Now I would take exponent both on the side. And as I'll take exponent both on the side, it is going to be exponent of y over n. And this would become 2n ln of 1 minus 1 over n. And as we wanted to feed n tends to infinity for yn, what I would do, exponent has been shifted towards right hand side. So it had been y of n. And as it has been exponent, obviously the right hand side is going to be log natural. Did you understand what exactly I wanted to communicate? So yes, this has been happened. This has been happened. So I should say I could have rubbed this out, and this has been y of n actually. Y of n actually. Yes, and we wanted to have limit n tends to infinity. So here it becomes limit n tends to infinity y of n. So here it becomes 2 of n. Let me expand it. 1 minus of x. What does it actually mean of it? And that stands for x. Here instead the x, it has been n minus x square divided by 2, so on and so forth. I don't have to go for the larger value. So what I would do now, just you yourself would be able to understand it. Now when the n has been fed inside, this has been knocked off, but the remaining component would have an n towards denominator side with the power of 1, 2, 3. So obviously when we will be feeding n tends to infinity, they will be rubbed out. So the value which had been left out is simply been e, and then it goes to n minus 1 by n. Virtually speaking, it is been e to the power of minus 2. It is been e to the power of minus 2 minus 2 minus 2. Yes, the b has been the bestmost answer. B has been the bestmost answer. Agreed? So I would request to each one of you be live in daily basis. Otherwise, we may had to disrupt these classes because we want the strength and at least the communication from the student side. Communication from the student side. Nobody had given in reply. I would request to each one of you subscribe now. I want the subscription from each one of you. I want the subscription from each one of you. Subscribe now itself. And if you want, you can join our channel as well. You can join our channel as well. The channel is been because in future any kind of information if you guys have been seeking from, definitely you can get it from here itself. Yes. Okay then. This is all about the today's class. We'll meet tomorrow with the same enthusiasm. Till then, bye bye.